Welcome to my channel. Let me ask you something. Do you still translate every sentence in your head before you speak English? I used to do that too, every single time, word by word. It was slow, and it made me silent. But then, I trained my brain to think in English, without grammar books, without memorizing rules. And in this video, I'll show you exactly how I did it, step by step. Tell me in the comments, do you still translate before you speak? Stay with me, because your brain is about to change forever. Chapter 1. I couldn't think in English. I still remember the first time I tried to speak English with someone. I knew what I wanted to say. I had the words in my head. But they were not in English. They were in my own language. I started to translate. One word, then another. But by the time I made the full sentence, the moment was gone. The other person had already moved on. I missed my chance. I stayed quiet. I smiled and nodded like I understood. But inside, I felt small. I thought something was wrong with me. Every day I studied English. I watched videos. I read grammar books. I wrote down new words. But still, I could not think in English. I could read. I could understand a little. But when it came to speaking, my brain froze. It was like my English was locked in a room and I didn't have the key. I knew so many rules, but I couldn't use them in real life. One day I was walking on the street. A tourist asked me for directions in English. I understood his question. He said, "Excuse me, where is the nearest ATM?" I knew what ATM meant. I knew the word where. I even knew the answer, but my brain started to panic. I said nothing. I only pointed with my finger and walked away. My heart was beating fast. I was so embarrassed. That night, I cried. I had learned English for years, but I could not answer a simple question. At that moment, something broke inside me, but not in a bad way. I was tired of memorizing. I was tired of feeling like a robot. I decided something that night. I will not learn English anymore. I will train my brain to think in English. I didn't want to remember English. I wanted to live it. I started to ask myself, why can't I think in English? Babies do it. They don't read grammar books. They don't translate. They just hear the language, feel the meaning, and speak. So, why not me? I realized I was trying to speak English like a machine, first translating, then speaking. And that never works in real life. The real problem was not my vocabulary. It was not my grammar. The real problem was my thinking. My brain was still in my mother tongue. Every time I wanted to say something, my brain had to take a long road, from my language to English. That road was full of traffic. It was slow. It was stressful. It was the reason I froze. I needed to change that road. I needed a shortcut. A new path where English words came to my brain directly, just like my own language. But how? That was the beginning of a new journey. I promised myself, I will stop translating. I will stop memorizing grammar rules. I will stop learning English the hard way. From now on, I will train my brain like a child. I will teach it to feel English, to see English, to hear English, to speak English naturally. I didn't know how I would do it yet, but I was ready. I was hungry for change, and I believed one thing with all my heart. If others can think in English, so can I. This was the first step. I was not learning words. I was learning a new mindset. I stopped calling myself a student. I started calling myself a speaker. Even if I didn't speak much yet, I had changed my identity in my mind. I started to believe, I am someone who thinks in English. That belief was powerful. It gave me courage, it gave me energy, and it became the fuel for everything I did next. What happened after that? Something strange. Something powerful. I didn't learn English with books anymore. I learned it with my ears, with my eyes, with my daily life. And slowly, one sentence at a time, my brain started to switch. Not perfectly, not fast, but naturally. Chapter 2. The day I heard English differently. It happened on a quiet evening. I was tired. My eyes hurt from reading too many grammar books. My notebook was full of words I never used. I felt like giving up. I picked up my phone and searched for easy English story. I just wanted to listen. No thinking, no rules, just simple words. I clicked on a video. A soft voice began. It said, "It is morning." I wake up. I open the window. The sun is bright. That was it. Just a few small sentences. But something strange happened. I understood everything. Not because I translated. Not because I knew every word. I just understood. I could see the morning. I could feel the window opening. I could feel the light. There was no effort. No stress. Just images in my mind. And that was the moment, the exact moment I realized, this is how English should feel. Not like math, not like a puzzle, but like a movie in my head. I wasn't thinking in my language. I wasn't trying to say it in English. My brain just connected the words to the pictures, like magic. I paused the video. My heart was beating fast. I played it again. This time, I closed my eyes. It is morning. I wake up. I open the window. The sun is bright. I repeated the words in my mind. Not out loud, just inside. And for the first time, I was not translating. I was not even thinking. I was living in English, in my mind. I had found the key, the secret, the trick nobody teaches you. The brain doesn't learn with grammar. The brain learns with feeling, with pictures, with sounds, with real-life experience. I was never told this. All my life, I thought I had to learn English. But now I knew I had to feel English. That short story changed everything for me. It gave me a new goal. From now on, I will listen more than I study. I will close my books and open my ears. I will stop forcing English into my brain. I will let it flow into my brain, naturally. So I made a new habit. Every morning, I listened to one short story. I didn't care about big words. I didn't worry about grammar. I only focused on the meaning, the picture, the feeling, the emotion. And slowly, I felt something shift in my brain. English was not a second language anymore. It was becoming part of me. After 1 week, something amazing happened. I was brushing my teeth. I looked in the mirror and said in my mind, I am brushing my teeth. I didn't plan it. I didn't translate it. It just came, like a small voice inside me, a soft English voice. It was not loud, it was not perfect, but it was mine. It came from my own brain. That was a magical moment. I smiled at myself in the mirror. I whispered, "It's working." My brain was learning, slowly, silently, but surely. And I kept going, more listening, more pictures, more simple sentences in my daily life. The more I listened, the more I thought in English. I didn't need long lessons. I didn't need to write essays. I just needed to hear English in real life and trust my brain to do the rest. You see, our brain is smart. It doesn't need permission. It doesn't need pressure. It just needs patterns, emotions, and repetition. That's what I gave it. And my brain said, "Thank you." That's why I tell every learner now, don't fight with English. Don't force it. Just listen, feel it. Let your brain make the connections, and it will. Because if your brain can think in your first language, it can think in English too. You just have to show it how. And that's what I'll share with you next. How I trained my brain using pictures, not words. That trick made my English thoughts faster, clearer, and more natural. Chapter 3. Thinking in Pictures, Not Words. After that mirror moment, I knew I was on the right path. But I still had one big problem. Sometimes I would hear a sentence, understand it, even repeat it. But when I wanted to use it later, I couldn't. It was like the sentence just disappeared. My mind went blank. Again, I started to ask, why does this happen? One morning, I was cutting an apple. I looked at it and said in my mind, "This is an apple. Simple, right?" But something clicked. I didn't translate the word. I didn't say Seb in my native language. I saw the apple, and my brain gave me the English word directly. It was a direct connection, picture to word. And that's when I understood. This is how children learn. They don't learn with rules. They learn with images and actions. So I made a decision. From now on, I will stop thinking in words. I will start thinking in pictures. Every time I do something in my daily life, I will connect the action to a simple English phrase, and I will see the action in my mind. When I drink water, I will say in my mind, "I drink water." When I open the door, I will think, "I open the door." When I sit down, I will think, "I sit." I won't write it. I won't translate it. I will just see it and say it. At first, it felt slow. I had to pause and think. But soon, it started to feel natural, like building muscles. The more I trained this way, the faster my thoughts became. And the best part? I didn't need a book. I didn't need a teacher. My life became my classroom. My brain became my English partner. Here's something powerful I discovered. Your brain remembers what it sees and feels, not what it reads. That's why we remember movies more than textbooks. That's why you still remember your first bicycle, your first school, your first love, because your brain sees the image, not the sentence. So I used that secret. I created images for everything, not drawings, just mental pictures. I imagined myself at a shop. I imagined asking for bread. I imagined paying the money. And in my head, I heard, "Can I get some bread, please?" with the image of me holding bread. That made the sentence stick in my brain. And it was not just objects. I used this method for feelings, too. I feel cold. I am tired. I am happy. I said these when I actually felt them. When I was cold, I whispered, I feel cold. When I was angry, I said, I'm angry. The emotion made the words real, and real words stay. This chapter of my journey was about changing the way I connected with English. No more thinking in grammar, no more building sentences with logic, just pictures, feelings, and short phrases. That was it. And it worked. One day I was walking in the park. I saw a child fall. Without thinking, I said in English, "Oh no, he fell down." I didn't prepare it. I didn't translate. It just came out. And I smiled. That was the moment I knew my brain was starting to think in English. You don't need to speak perfectly. You don't need to say long sentences. You just need to connect English with real things, real objects, real actions, real emotions. Do this again and again, and your brain will stop translating. It will start thinking. So here's what I tell every learner now. Don't memorize, visualize. Don't try to say something big. Just say something real. Think in pictures, feel the phrase, and trust your brain. In the next chapter, I'll show you how I built my first 100 English thoughts using this method, and how you can too. These thoughts changed the way I spoke English in real life. Chapter 4. My first 100 English thoughts. After I started thinking in pictures, something amazing happened. My brain became faster, my sentences became simpler, and I felt more confident. But I knew I needed one thing now: consistency. I didn't want to think in English just once or twice a day. I wanted to think in English all day long. So I gave myself a challenge. I will create 100 small English thoughts in my mind. Not from a book, not from YouTube, but from my real life. And I started small, very small. I wake up. I open my eyes. I sit on the bed. I stretch my arms. I walk to the bathroom. Each sentence matched something I was doing. I didn't just say the words, I felt them. I lived them. And every time I said a sentence, I smiled inside. Because I was training my brain. One thought at a time. I made a rule. No grammar books, no pressure. Just me, my actions, and one phrase per moment. When I made tea, I said, I boil water. When I added sugar, I add sugar. When I drank the tea, I drink slowly. Every action gave me a new English sentence. And the best part? I didn't forget them, because my brain connected each phrase to a real action. This was not learning. This was living. I repeated the sentences in my head as I moved through the day. Sometimes I whispered. Sometimes I just thought silently. But all day long, I was talking to myself, in English. At first it was hard to remember. My brain wanted to use my first language. But I was patient. I didn't give up. And after a few days, it became easier. The sentences came faster. My brain started to expect English. And soon I reached 100 thoughts. Not 100 big sentences, not perfect grammar, just 100 real-life, living thoughts. Here are some of my favorites. I tie my shoelaces. I open the fridge. I check my phone. I hear a dog barking. I close the door. I feel sleepy. I need some rest. I go outside. It's raining. I forgot my umbrella. Each one came from a real moment. No memorization, no translation, just real life. And every time I thought in English, I felt like I was adding one more block to my fluency. Let me tell you something powerful. You already have hundreds of thoughts every day. Why not make some of them in English? You don't need to speak in front of people. You don't need to write essays. You just need to be present, be aware, watch your life like a movie, and describe it in English. You'll be surprised how much your brain can do when you let it think freely. This method helped me break a fear. I was not afraid of speaking anymore, because now I was thinking. And when the thinking changes, the speaking comes naturally. One day someone called me on the phone. They spoke English, and I replied, not perfectly, not fast, but calmly. I didn't freeze. I didn't translate. I just said what I was thinking. That was my win. A small one, but a real one. So here's my advice. Don't wait for the perfect sentence. Don't wait for confidence. Just start with one English thought, then another, then another. Let it grow. Let it become a habit. Your brain is not lazy. It's just waiting for the right way. In the next chapter, I'll tell you about the day I met my greatest teacher, a mirror. Yes, a mirror. Because the mirror taught me something that changed my English forever. Chapter 5. The mirror changed everything. One day I was standing in front of the mirror. I was brushing my hair. I looked at my face, and suddenly, I froze. I stared into my own eyes. I whispered something in English without planning it. I said, "You look tired today." It was a small sentence, just 5 words, but it changed something inside me, because for the first time, I was talking to myself in English. I didn't prepare it. I didn't write it down. I didn't think about grammar. The words just came from my mind, softly, naturally, and they came because I saw my reflection. I was not talking to a stranger. I was not afraid. I was not nervous. I was just me. That moment became the start of something powerful, something I now call mirror talk. From that day on, I made a new rule. Every morning, I would speak to myself in English while looking into the mirror. Just for 1 minute, just simple words, simple sentences, nothing big, nothing perfect, just real. I looked at myself and said, "How are you today?" "You look sleepy." "Let's do something good today." "You will speak English well." It felt strange at first, a little funny, but also beautiful, because for the first time, I was using English with emotion. I was not learning. I was expressing. I was talking to myself like a friend, like a coach, like someone who believes in me. The mirror didn't judge me. It didn't laugh. It didn't correct me. It just reflected my words and my belief. That's when I realized something very deep. Before you speak to others in English, you must speak to yourself. You must believe the words you say. You must feel them. And mirror talk gives you that feeling. It's a private, quiet, honest conversation. And it's one of the fastest ways to train your brain. I started to use mirror talk in different moods, When I felt sad, I said, "You are strong. You will be okay." When I felt nervous, I said, "Take a deep breath. You can do this." When I felt happy, I said, "Today is a good day. I feel great." And the magic was, I wasn't just saying these sentences, I was living them. The emotion made the words powerful, and the words gave me confidence. Bit by bit, my voice became stronger. My sentences became smoother, and I started to feel ready to speak in front of others. But mirror talk wasn't just about speaking. It was about becoming friends with English. It was about trusting myself. It was about training my brain to think with feeling, not fear. Sometimes I made mistakes. Sometimes I forgot words. But I didn't care. I laughed. I smiled. I tried again. And every morning, the mirror became my safe space, my mini classroom, my personal stage. You don't need anything special. No partner, no teacher, just you and a mirror. Start small. 1 minute a day. Say what you feel. Talk about your day. Encourage yourself. Practice greetings. Practice questions. Practice emotions. The mirror shows you your face, but it also shows you your growth. And here's something beautiful. The more I talked to myself, the more I understood myself, and the more English became part of me, not something outside me. So if you're shy, if you're scared to speak, if you feel stuck, go to the mirror, look into your own eyes, and speak, even just one sentence. That's how it begins. In the next chapter, I'll share how I moved from thinking to speaking naturally, not in my room, but in real conversations with real people, and how the first real English reply came out of my mouth, without translation. Chapter 6. From Thinking to Speaking Naturally. Everything changed the day I finally spoke English, not in my mind, not to my mirror, but to a real person. A real conversation. No plan, no translation. Just a moment, and my English flowed out. Let me tell you how it happened. I was walking to a small grocery shop near my house. I had gone there many times before, but I never spoke. I just pointed, nodded, paid, and left. I was too scared to speak even a small sentence in English, but this time was different. This time, I had been thinking in English all morning. I looked at my shoes and said, "I wear black shoes." I held my phone and thought, "I check the time." I saw the road and said in my mind, "I walk to the shop." It was like I was warming up my brain, preparing it for real conversation. When I reached the shop, something simple happened. The shopkeeper smiled and asked, "You want a bag?" And before I could think, before I could translate, I smiled and said, "No, thank you, I have one." That was it. One sentence. Natural, clear, no fear, no translation. And after I said it, I walked out of the shop feeling like a champion. I didn't just speak English, I lived it. My brain didn't stop to search for words. It didn't ask for help. It just answered, like it does in my first language. And that's when I understood. This is how fluency feels. It's not about speaking fast. It's not about using big words. It's about saying what you think, in the moment, with ease. That moment gave me a deep lesson. You don't become fluent in front of people first. You become fluent in your mind. And when your mind is ready, your mouth will follow. From that day on, I started talking more. Not long speeches, just small replies. When someone asked, "How are you?" I said, "I'm doing well, thanks." When someone said, "Nice weather today," I replied, "Yes, it's really nice." I didn't try to be perfect. I tried to be present, and that made all the difference. Here's the truth I discovered. Your brain will speak the way you train it to think. If your thoughts are always in your language, your speech will be too. But if you train your brain with short, daily English thoughts, your speech will come naturally without pain. Sometimes I made mistakes. I said the wrong word. I forgot how to say something. But I didn't stop. I smiled. I kept going. I didn't wait to become fluent. I let fluency come through real life. Thinking is the bridge between silence and speaking. And now I had crossed that bridge. Not because I was smart, not because I studied for 10 hours, but because I trained my brain with pictures, with emotions, with daily thoughts, and with mirror talk. And now I had arrived. I was not perfect, but I was free. Free to speak, free to respond, free to connect. That's why I believe every learner can speak, even you. You just need to start small and think in English first. In the final chapter, I'll give you the full map, the 7-day brain training plan I followed to make English part of my daily life. If you follow it, I promise, your brain will begin to think in English too. Chapter 7. You can train your brain too. If you're still here, I want to tell you something very important. You can do this. Yes, you. If I could train my brain to think in English without studying grammar rules, then so can you. You don't need a perfect accent. You don't need to memorize thousands of words. You just need one thing: daily action, and it starts with your thoughts. In this final chapter, I want to give you a simple 7-day brain training plan. The same method I used when I finally stopped translating in my head. The same method that changed my fear into fluency. Each day is simple. No grammar, no pressure, just you, your brain, and your real life. Day 1. Start with morning thoughts. When you wake up, say the first 5 things you do in English, in your mind or out loud. I wake up. I sit on the bed. I go to the bathroom. I wash my face. I brush my teeth. Don't think too much. Just say what you do. Say it while you do it. Feel it. That's how you begin to think in English. Day 2. Listen with feeling. Find a short, easy English story with slow audio. Listen with your heart. Don't write. Don't translate. Close your eyes and imagine every sentence. She drinks tea. See her. He walks to the door. Imagine it. Let your brain enjoy the story. That's how connection is made. Day 3. Picture your world. Today, pick 10 objects around you. Chair, table, phone, bag, window. Touch them, look at them, and say their name in English. Then add a small sentence. This is a chair. I sit on the chair. Do it slowly. Do it with feeling. This is how children learn. And this is how your brain begins to switch languages. Day 4. Mirror talk. Look in the mirror. Smile. And talk to yourself in English. Just 1 minute. How are you today? You look happy. You can do it. It may feel strange, but it will become powerful. Because when you speak to yourself, you build trust, you create safety, and your English starts becoming real. Day 5. Think in real time. Wherever you go, try to describe your actions in your head. I open the door. I take the keys. I walk down the stairs. I see a red car. Talk in your mind all day, like a narrator, slowly, simply, calmly. Your brain will thank you. Day 6. Respond to the world. Today, reply in English, even if it's only in your mind. Someone smiles, think, he is kind. You see the sky? Think, the sky is blue. Your tea is hot? Think, this tea is very hot. React in English. Build the habit of response. Fluency is not just speaking, it's responding. Day 7. Celebrate and repeat. Today, sit down and review what you've done. Think of 10 English thoughts you use this week. Say them again. Smile. Feel proud. Now start again. Next week, build 10 more. You are not just learning English now. You are thinking in it. And that is fluency. Remember this. Thinking in English is not a gift. It's a practice, a habit, a quiet change that happens slowly, and then suddenly. When you stop translating, you start trusting. When you start trusting, you start speaking. And when you speak, everything opens. You can train your brain. You can feel confident. You can become the English speaker you dreamed of. Not someday, but step by step. Let your brain walk this path, one small English thought at a time. Thank you for staying with me through this journey. You didn't just watch a video, you began a transformation. Now, keep going. Tell me in the comments. What English sentence will you think today? Let's grow together. If this video helped you, if it gave you even one moment where you felt, I can do this, then I invite you to subscribe to this channel. Like this video so more learners can find it. Comment below and share your first English thought, because your brain is ready. Your story is waiting. And English is no longer something to fear. It's something to live. Let's think in English. Let's live in English. Together.